to another episode of the Malta Humanist Association 7-minute Soundbites. And today, for this episode, we have Jackson Levy's side. Welcome, Jackson.
Thank you. Thank you for the invitation.
So Jackson comes from the Institute of Space Science and Astronomy, and I will love to go directly to that, Jackson. So what pushed you to dedicate yourself to the study of the universe?
So I think, like most people, as a child, when you look out at the universe and you think, what's our place in this cosmos, in this universe, and then growing older, going through the education system and finding out all the wonders of our understanding of the universe, and also the big questions that still remain in the universe, pushed me for a life of trying to understand, maybe answering some of these questions, but also maybe finding more information about what's out there.
So you think astronomy is associated with all philosophy on that terms?
Well, astronomy or space sciences in general has had a big history of turning philosophical questions into scientific questions. So about changing questions maybe which seemed a little bit without an answer and changing them into questions that we could answer. Many of the big questions: where did we come from? Are we alone? These questions now have become from philosophical questions to real scientific questions that we can plan to answer.
So would you describe human existence in terms of physics terminology?
Well, I mean, that's a big question, and there are many ways to come at it. But in physics terminology, let's say, we can understand the physical processes that go on. We can understand also chemical processes, biological processes, and also the electrical infrastructure that makes us, right? To understand humanity in the context of science gives us a different dimension on say, previous ways of defining humanity.
So do you think that life's formation on this planet was purely by chance, or is it likely or unlikely that this happened or will happen elsewhere? Now also seeing that we are moving rapidly out of this planet somehow.
So we don't understand all the processes that went in to life starting on planet Earth, but we are trying, as you mentioned, to answer this question through looking at other planets. Our neighboring planet Mars, which seems very barren from the outside, but also seems to maybe have had some kind of the beginnings of life, let's say. Maybe we can find fossilized life on Mars. Now, about whether it's by chance, I mean, so there was obviously an element of statistics, in the sense that if you have, it's not enough to have the right conditions for life to emerge. But definitely, if you, with so many planets, and now more than looking at just our solar system, looking outside our solar system, finding planets in the galaxy, and being able to actually say, okay, how many planets does a galaxy roughly have? Being able to understand what are the conditions, the complex conditions that go into trying to find life. It seems extremely likely that there would be life on other planets. But then the real question becomes, it's not just, because there are two kinds of life in a certain sense. So you've got life in terms of living organisms, and then you have life in the sense of sentient beings, in the sense of trying to find them sending us signals, for instance, as we send signals out into space.
So back to us on this on this planet then. What is the relationship between astronomy and humanism?
Well, I mean, in terms of astronomy, we can understand maybe, as I said at the beginning, a little bit of understanding these big questions in the sense of a scientific context. For many centuries, it was very hard to understand in basic terms, what does it mean to ask the question, what's our purpose, where did we come from, and these sorts of things. Now we understand a lot better. We are made of stars, for instance. The material that goes into planet Earth comes from supernovae, for instance. Understanding this context can definitely inform and maybe guide a little bit our understanding of humanism, let's say, and also our relationship to nature, that we are not supernatural, that we
Mm.
are part of nature in a real
So,
sense.
so on that level, astronomy can make us better human beings.
Understanding our place in the universe would definitely make us hopefully better, but also more better informed, let's say. And being better informed definitely can help us make better decisions, hopefully better people.
And on that level, where does the Institute of Space Science Institute come in?
So the Institute of Space Sciences and Astronomy is it's it's a recent institute in Malta, and it's a very interesting place because it's a sort of convergence point between science, engineering, and ICT. So it is a place where we can have these multidisciplinary research projects. We can have projects where we work with people abroad on these many different things. For instance, as we recently heard about the Mars landing,
Mhm.
the European Space Agency is planning in a few years to land another rover, the Rosalind Franklin, which will work a little bit with the recent mission Perseverance. And the Institute is one way that we can maybe possibly take part in these things. Also, we have an outreach arm where we can work with different NGOs, different organizations, and organize events for the general public and try and inform people about what's going on in the world of astronomy. So it has a big national impact in that sense.
Thanks a lot, Jackson Leviside, where you gave us a good, quick snippet on astronomy and humanism. Thank you for accepting our invitation.
Thanks so much for the invitation.
For the rest, I see you for the next episode.